Yes, welcome back to another stream over here on Twitch and YouTube. We're jumping straight into the action, playing some 5k PLO. We're also playing 5-card PLO over here. This guy raises under the gun. It goes check, check, flop. We bet turn pot river. Opponent probably is going to hold quite a few ace combos there, but we do have the blockers to the straight. Or straights, I should say. And we do take it down rather fast. How are you guys doing today? I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but there's a donkey outside my apartment, which is actually true. There is a donkey outside there, and he is I don't know, shouting or screaming. I don't know what the right word is, because I think there's food coming. But anyway, just been at the gym, and a mix of a leg day and a push day. Ready to fire some tables before doing other stuff, like creating content, studying the game, etc., etc. Let's see what's going on. So we're playing this 5k table, a 2k table right here. There's a 5-card PLO 510 table and another 5-card PLO 510 table. So it's a good mix of 4 and 5-card PLO at reasonable stakes. And hopefully we will see some exciting hands go down here as we take down the blinds. Very exciting. Top pair, backdoor not flush draw. We will go with the check call. Top 2, pretty nice. I can also see like how the solver wants to even donk this turn sometimes, because we're gonna have a good amount of ace jacks in our check calling range here. He goes for a pot. It's kind of scary, kind of saying he has at least ace jack and 5-card PLO. So I don't think we're pushing equity by jamming. We will just call and then get completely crushed on the 6 of diamonds. Which basically means we're just going to check fold, obviously. Not a big deal. King Jack 10-7. We'll go with the guess a check back. Over on this table, we open raised EP. Check, check, flop. Facing turn probe. Check, check, turn. We could raise, but I guess we're not. I guess that was a good idea. Getting against the short stack player over here. We get kings against ace queen 10. On Twitch and YouTube, we're jumping straight into the action. Play. Flop is good. How is it going, guys? And welcome. Okay, relax, JNandez, relax. On YouTube, you win this pot. Okay, tricky spot over here. So we defend the big blind. This guy limps, raise, I call. I mean, 3-way single raise pot. I don't know what this is, but we're not gonna fold king 4 here, right? Just can't fold that hand. Uh oh, 3-way all in. That's not good. We actually beat both players in a 3-way all in here. Okay, trying to fade like the straight flush out, I guess. Wait, queen of dime. What the what? Oh my god, really? Hits the straight flush out. I mean, I guess so. You got it in three ways with 87% equity. I mean, what can you do? It's pretty much as good as it gets, I guess. 5-card PL on the turn. 3 ways. Goes for the straight flush. Okay. All right. What are we gonna do? Let's make some announcements. This guy dongs 10-5-3. Alright, we're just gonna call. Take it from there. Our range will struggle quite a bit on many runouts, so like I don't mind calling like a 2-pair hand. Also, he checks turn. Kind of interesting. I can definitely see some like turned 2 pairs here in my opponent's range. I think generally speaking, straights just go for a bet at this point because they don't expect me to bet with a button rate in a 6. Okay, let's have a look. What's going on here? We raise pre. Just gonna check fold the flop. I can also see like how the solver wants to. Music levels seem to be good. Already with the turn pot size bet. Interesting. Guys, we're back on YouTube playing some 5K PLO. 4-card, 5 cards, the whole thing. Tune in right now. youtube.com/JNandezPoker. Interesting hand over here. This looks like a very good hand against Tom Fogelsang. Let's go in. Oh, that's a nice flop. Pretty dry turn cards. We might have some fold equity here on this particular turn. Bare aces, we're still a favorite actually against aces and a gutter. All right, once or twice. Two times, we lose the first, we lose both. We lose both as a favorite. As a favorite? Yeah, as a favorite. Over here we do win a hand against same player, double barrels the blocker, and we call, and then shuts down on the river. Over here, get 3-bet blind on blind, pop the nuts. I think we want to lead king queen sometimes, but my combo is like not that great. Let's gonna be tough to play turns and rivers. Potting, that's interesting. Potting. I mean, that actually makes it even better to just jam. Get it in. Just push more of the money in the middle. 5k pot. Wow. Same hands. Although he has one out now, a king. All right. Over on this table, we call the 3-bet. Check on the flop. Check turn. Also the royal flush thingy over here. This guy, I'm gonna raise on the river. He said, "Sorry, bro, for this one. The one outer. I am a subscriber for years. That's sick. I love you, Jay. All good, all good. Congrats to the one outer. I guess we're gonna click around here a little bit. All right, split it up." Against Uri, decided to 3-bet the 9-8-7-5. We got called. Bet flop and got called. Turn is a 3. Doesn't really help me. It's gonna have a lot of like ace, king, jack kind of combos, ace, jack, 10 kind of combos. Are those hands gonna call again or not? What hands do I want to bluff? The 5. I guess I'm gonna bluff the queen a lot more, maybe with a straight draw. More, yeah. I want him to have a hand basically like, I want him to have a hand like ace 9-8-7 or something that just can't continue against the second barrel. The river is actually kind of weird. I don't think he has 6-7 much, and I have a pretty decent bluff. Not sure what hand that would represent with 6-7 though. Also, like, no limit players in general don't tend to give us much credit for like really big hands because they're used to just, you know, 2 cards. I mean, this just takes care of it. We're not gonna bluff against the pot size bet, but it's kind of interesting card to definitely against the check to bet, but against the bet to jam if he goes like for a block, possibly. Over here, I guess we're gonna try to spike a 10 unsuccessfully, and 3-bet ace ace 10-9-7 in the 5-card streets. Okay, it's a solid flop. All in against another 10 with a flush draw. I guess we're gonna go one time. Let's just win it. Okay, so far so good. Still flipping by the turn. Jack is no good. Jack is definitely no good. We lose another one. What's up, Paul? Welcome to the stream. Merry Christmas, bro. I guess. Okay, messages are out. Sean says, what's up, Sean? Hey, Fernando, PLO subscriber here. Love your content. I was wondering if you can explain us a little bit how you take notes and how do you categorize your opponents using the color coding notes. So I actually made a full course in the PLO Mastermind. I'm not sure when you say subscriber, if you're talking about PLO Mastermind subscriber or YouTube subscriber, but basically in the PLO Mastermind, I made an entire course. Let me just see what the name is of it. about exactly this topic. How to take notes, how to understand data, especially when you play in environments where you actually have stats, like HUDs, etc. The course is called Software and Tools, PLO Profiler. So I made a course called PLO Profiler, and it has 11 episodes and multiple downloadable HUDs where I talk a lot about labeling of opponents. So it's a little bit of a longer, I mean, not necessarily, I mean, the proper answer deserves like more space, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But if you are a subscriber to the PLO Mastermind, then check out that course. And there's also an episode in this course that is called, let me just go barrel through here. I mean, I have the nuts basically. The course episode is called Labeling Opponents. And if I go into the full view, is this like this? Yeah. Okay, so if you check this out, there's an episode called Labeling Opponents. Welcome back to PLO Profiler. In this video, I will talk about how to identify differences between opponent types and label them accordingly. So let's jump straight into our labeling system. On the left-hand side, we have our... So here you have a quick look into the labeling system, and then this video that goes for 20 minutes explains exactly like how the logic works, etc., etc. So head over to the PLO Mastermind, check out the PLO Profiler course, which you can find under the tab of Software and Tools, and yeah, and learn more about it. So this guy, what's happening here? Okay. 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 That is unfortunate. Actually, here in this 3-bet pot, we will start off like this. Aha. Tom Fogelsang with the 3-bet. Oh, the cold 4-bet actually against my aces. And those are pretty strong aces, actually. So I will indeed come over the top. All in, aces and aces, extremely likely. We do have the better aces. Actually, it's a favorite. But we need something. What do we need? 10 is for sure good. A 5 is not good for us. I think it's going to split the thing, right? All right. I guess then we split. Over here we limp call pre. In the 5k streets against Uri, and we flop to a pair. Just gonna check call. Obviously in the turn, we have another check call. There's no way we're gonna raise this deep. There's still a lot of hands that I can beat that he's betting for value, basically, at this point. And the river's a 3. So that's an interesting one to sort of block bet as well. Yeah, I'm going to try to do that, actually. for 375. Called, and we win a 3K pot. Nice. It wasn't a bad beat. I had the best hand all day long. A lot of comments in the chat. Let me check them out any second. There's actually a little bit of my light, the sunlight is making it more difficult to read this stuff. 1 second, let me just pop out the chat and bring it over. Yeah, this is probably better. Yeah. And then YouTube. 1 sec. Pop out the chat. All right. Profiler is really useful. Need to watch it again. Appreciate that. Hey, coach, it's morning for me and I'm having a nice coffee. How did you start your day? From Nico. I went to the gym pretty much straight away. Just going to the gym, knock it out of the, out of the day essentially. Just making sure it's done. Had some proteins afterwards, and now I'm here basically. Just wake up and go to the gym as fast as possible. Which is, generally speaking, a pretty solid start. I limp from the small blind with ace-5 suited. What? Well, this is a 2-card question. I'm not a 2-card guy, unfortunately. What are some considerations when selecting a mental game coach? I guess like different mental game coaches have different approaches. I'm going to call this hand, see some flops, even though it is a 3-bet. What I would recommend when it comes to mental game coaches, we're going to lead the flop here, is a lot of mental game coaches have different free content out there, and that allows you to get a glimpse into sort of like what kind of coaching or perspective they are offering, and if that speaks to you or not. So I would just check out their free content and to figure out like who's helpful, what kind of approach do you appreciate or could help you in your current situation. For example, there are mental game coaches that are very focused on you not tilting. Some mental game coaches are focused more on your routine. Some of them are focused more on accountability. Some of them are more focused on your psychological trauma. There are all sorts of different ones. And I think by just spending more time with their free content, you will learn how that can potentially help you. But also, I think even more important than that, you need to realize that the most important thing about sort of leveling up in your mindset, because that's really what it is. The most important thing you need to understand is that it's in your hands. You need to do it. It's your head, like it's your brain, and you can't outsource that kind of work to someone else. It has to happen within you. Now, someone can potentially trigger something within you that will help you to then make the necessary processes in your brain. But at the end of the day, it is something that you have to do within you. And I think that everyone is sort of on a different part of their journey when it comes to improving their mindset, and different coaches can be helpful for different stages, so to speak. Some people are like really lazy, and some people are very fragile, and some people are insecure, and some people are overconfident. Some people have big goals and some people have small goals, right? So it really depends what the next level is for you to step on. For example, if you are very lazy and you don't even have any ambitions, then maybe you need someone that can just make sure that you can start your journey, so to speak, into developing habits, developing routines, getting some momentum, getting your first success, developing some confidence around your goals and yourself. And then you level up, right? And there are some people that are really good in that transformational gap. Now, if you already leveled up from that and you are actually confident and you do have some routines, maybe you need someone that can help you to think bigger and be like, I know you have decent goals, but maybe you want to take them to the next level. Maybe you struggle with the implementation of challenging yourself, then you might need someone that is more accountability driven. Maybe you're someone that actually had already achieved a lot of success and now you don't really know what's next. That's something that happened to me, for example. Like I have achieved, I would say, like a good amount of success in the last 10 years. And what I was looking for, I'm getting coached basically all the time. Like last year, I mean, still this year, actually. This year, I got coached like by 3 different people. And I'm still working with some of them right now. I'm getting coached basically all the time because the benefit is it's so large, essentially. But basically, I was in a position where I wasn't really sure how do I get into an exciting spot in my life, so to speak. You know, when you have nothing, let's say, when you have no success, and when you have no money and no opportunities, then it's kind of easy to understand what you should do next. You know, get some money, get some success, you know, do some shit, you know, like get your life into order. It's kind of somewhat easy, at least it was for me, to understand this is the next thing I should focus on, which is to upgrade my life and move up the chain of life, you know. Now, some people, they also struggle with that because they're in a bad mental state and they have, I don't know, trauma or a different mindset, so that they are not even able to motivate themselves to move from dirt to some level of success, right? Then you need potentially different type of help. But let's say you move up into a position where you actually finally had some success and you're like, oh wow, I have all this success, but now where's the juice of life? Because if you achieve like success beyond, you know, paying your bills and all this stuff, and you have holistically viewed, in a holistic way, you have succeeded on multiple fronts and ticked multiple boxes, then it's more complex to understand what's the next box you want to attack and tick. Should you think bigger about relationships? Should you think bigger about impact? Should you think bigger about your professional skills? Should you think bigger about the skills you have? Should you think bigger about, you know, what exactly and how big and why? Right? So then you need to sort of evaluate your current position, and you need someone that has some level of authority, or someone that you think you respect enough to accept their suggestion for you. So I was basically looking for someone like that, and I have found someone like that who can help me to, you know, and that person, when I talked to this person the first time, which was about 4 months ago or something, or 5 months ago maybe, I was like, I don't really know what to do with my potential. You know, like I came this far and this is all good and fine, but what is this all for? You know, like where is the juice of life? And he was able to sort of absorb my energy and be like, you know what you need? You need a big challenge. That's what you need. You need to actually have a big challenge, and you need to be challenged and become motivated through the challenge to step up to the next level, you know? And the next level isn't necessarily, how do I make another $100,000 a month, and not a month, a year or whatever. It is more like, how do I live the best life I can possibly live with the people that I enjoy spending time the most? You know, how do I move up the chain of life quality? And traveling, seeing places, hanging around with the right people, you know, being in the right relationship, like all these things, they added to that. Like they help me to move more towards, you know, from this position to the next position. You know, at the end of the day, we're all trying to level up, and it depends on what kind of code is. It depends where you are and what kind of transformational gap you're looking to fill, in terms of like which person you should hire to help you. And by consuming free content, you might identify just like, oh, that person is actually really good to take me from this point to this point, and this person will be good to take me from here to here. You know, so basically, I think that's the way I would look at it. Basically, yeah. Did you get bored of Vegas already? It's not really about getting bored, but first of all, my visa ran out, but also I want to go back, you know, in order to visit my family for Christmas, you know, and that's also a big part of life quality. You know, can you afford to travel around and then travel back, like travel from Vegas to Switzerland to Austria, to different parts of Europe, to Asia, etc. Like, can you afford all these things? And like, in which way could they potentially improve your life quality and life experience? And I realized that actually this could actually improve a lot, my life quality and experience, etc. So I went to Vegas and then went back to Switzerland for holidays, and now I'm here in Austria playing online poker on GG, and I'm gonna, continuously travel, etc., etc. But you need to have like a certain awareness of like what is the thing that will elevate your life to the next level. And to round things up, I guess sometimes a coach can be really helpful, but again, at the end of the day, you have to put things in motion, because no one is going to care if you level up I mean, maybe if you have like a good solid girlfriend or something and she actually helps you to elevate, and you sort of elevate together, sure. But in general, it's sort of at the end of the day, it's sort of a lonely journey, because no one is going to go to the gym for you. No one is going to motivate you to grow beyond themselves. It's going to be like, yeah, we're at the same level right now, but I hope you're actually going to outgrow me the fuck, and then we might not be friends anymore or something like that. So you have to develop this mindset yourself at the end of the day, and whatever gets you there gets you there. It could be a coach, it could be also videos, books, but the most important thing you have to do is just like to work on your own brain, just in quiet times. Think about, what do I value? Who do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to live? And then also, how do I then create that reality for myself in a very tangible way? This guy 3-bets me pre. It's kind of interesting. I don't think you should have too many king combos. So I don't even mind putting in like a little raisy daisy here. I mean, if you ask king with that anyway, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, this is no good. This is no good. Over here, this guy check raises flop. We call and get there on the river. So we call pre. Half pot, he check raises, he pots turn. And this guy bets river now, sort of blocking sizing. We just rip. Over here. Aiden says, I need to hear that. Thank you, bro. Appreciate the comment. Appreciate the comment. I think the first step... Oh, misclicked here. The first step to improve your mindset, I mean, it's not the first step, but it's an important step, is to develop as much awareness as possible about who you're surrounded by, right? What are the people you're surrounding yourself with? And what kind of messages are they putting out there to you and the world in general? What kind of demeanor and attitude do they have? I think here... kind of sad, but we're gonna fold, and then realize that you need to cut some people out, because if they are actually gonna drag you down, it's gonna have a huge impact on like the way you speak to yourself. Like, you want to have people around you that have big ambitions and big dreams, not necessarily monetarily, but that could be one of the metrics to look into. But also just in terms of life quality and achievement, like people that want to make something out of themselves, people that want to harvest the fruits of life, so to speak. You want to have people with a positive attitude, with a driven mindset, with perspectives of growth. And if people in your surroundings, even your family, are like not that way, then you need to make a conscious decision about how much do you want to expose yourself to that mindset. Because the last thing you kind of want to do is trying to change people, like you're going to just upset people by trying to change them. You can communicate, you can communicate openly and say, hey, look, I'm trying to surround myself with people of positivity and people that believe in themselves and maybe even myself. And I don't really feel that here. So I don't want to be surrounded by this negative energy or even neutral energy like all the time. So you have to make a decision. Do you want to change that? want to improve and work on that or not? Because if the answer is no, then I don't really see a future for our friendship or something like that. You know, I think this is important. As harsh as it sounds, it's kind of an unpopular message. Super important though. Good luck on the new year and at the tables. Good luck to you as well, Nikolai. Gonna go for half pot here, 3 ways. I think without a backdoor flush though, we just check. Uh-huh. This guy is pretty wild, by the way. What is this? 51-24. Pretty active player. See if we can trigger something by going for... Actually, we want to shove rivers, though, sometimes. So let's go for this. Might just give it away. Okay. Don't really like the river, though. We don't want to see an open jam. Just going to check. Just going to check, and we are good. Over in this table, single raise pot, a small bet versus me in the big blind. He comes in for the flop check raise. We have jack 8 and 2 backdoor flush draws, so we have not only the nuts, but also we have decent backup. So it's going to be one of the hands where I just want to rip it in. He's also going to have like some sets and some wraps that I'm doing well against. Good luck today. Can you tell me where I can find the Discord link to your server? Well, you can go to twitch.tv/JNandezPoker. And then below in the little panels, you can find it. So twitch.tv/JNandezPoker, or head over to PLOMastermind.com. There's probably going to be a link somewhere down, or sort of like community thingy link on the website, PLOMastermind.com. Yeah, check out the Discord, guys. It's a free Discord. You join a community of PLO-focused people around the world. Cardio or weightlifting is better for a poker player. Well, the way I think about it is more like I wouldn't identify this strongly with poker player in the first place, you know? Like the reason I'm working out is not to be a better poker player. Like the reason I'm working out is because it's a very important part of my life in terms of like my life quality. So even if I wouldn't play any poker, I obviously still want to like prioritize working out. It's very, very important. Just for life quality, lifespan, you know, look good, feel good, be good, like all this good stuff. So I'm not really trying to optimize my workouts around like poker necessarily. But I think if you have a good workout routine, it will also help you to play better poker. But I'm not structuring it around poker, so to speak. Some people do better with cardio. Some people do better with weightlifting, just generally in life in terms of the way they feel, the way that it impacts their health. So I would look into that. No girl is going to help you to level up. You need boys for that. Yeah, I think this is just bullshit, and maybe you haven't really met any like high value woman that really understands like how to help and level up a man. But there are definitely people like that out there. But also, they usually only come into your life when you are also offering a lot back, you know? So like the further you develop and more you have to offer as an individual, as a man as well, the easier it is for you to attract women that have something more than their beauty to offer to you, you know? But obviously it's an exchange of value. It's an exchange of value. Like you have to bring something to the table to attract someone like that to begin with. So yeah, maybe in the beginning. But even if you're like not crushing it yet, you know, you might still find a girl that believes in you, and she's going to help you to, you know, she's going to understand that you want to work a lot. She's going to understand that you're going to prioritize poker. She's going to understand that you don't want to hang out with her friends that talk about, you know, the latest Netflix show. If you have the right girl, like she will understand that. Even if you don't have the success that you dream of yet. And in that way, she's like supporting you because you have the stability of a woman on your side, but at the same time, you don't have to spend time, you know, wasting your time or life away, essentially. If PLO Mastermind is all about these abstract phrases, I will never subscribe. Nothing concrete to learn from you. That's an interesting comment. I think this comment says a lot more about you than me, to be honest, you know? When you think about that. Three-way synchronized pot here. I think on these boards you want to just check like a huge amount to the button, even though in this case the button is pretty wild. Like if I had a set, maybe I would be like more prone to start betting. The big blind snap checks turn. This is gonna get iffy. So this guy comes out betting. Okay, I'm gonna see some rivers. This is an interesting river. Like we could bluff this card, but it's just like one of the worst combos ever because we have no heart. And we still beat like some bluffs. Probably not a bluff. Okay. Maybe I could also see myself betting the flop here against such a wide preflop range. Maybe that's... Yeah, actually Luke made a video about this recently. Or semi-recently, like when the player in position co-calls way too many hands, like how much you're more incentivized to bet. It was a video for heads-up situations, but it still applies in multi-way spots as well. Let's see what's going on here. 3-bet by Tom. We call top 2. This is like slightly less than 100 big blinds to start. Ace-X of diamonds is possible. Obviously sets as well. Very unusual check. Shouldn't really check anything like full range c-bet on this board. So usually when people do that, it's a hand that doesn't want to get raised and has some sort of value. Maybe like a flush draw, like pocket queens. So we're actually going to go ahead and bet big because we don't want to accommodate the... we don't really accommodate that range that benefits so much from like not facing a raise / a big bet. It obviously is not really supported by Fury because in Fury there's no checking range in the spot. We all appreciate these streams a ton. Thanks for the content as always, Fernando. Jason, I appreciate that very much. From where are you? From where are you? From where are you? Well, originally from Switzerland, but currently I reside in Austria and also part-time in Vegas. I turned $1,000 into $9,000 in PLO. It was sick, LOL. Well, let me tell you one thing, okay? And I know you don't want to hear this. Because who really likes someone to be like, hey, great success story, but... You know, but the thing is, like, if you can turn $1,000 into $9,000, right? Or if this is what happened, which I believe it happened, you know, why wouldn't it happen? Then that means that you probably have a really aggressive bankroll management strategy. And inevitably, I tell you, with that kind of mindset, you will like go broke many, many times and you will like lose money long term, like a lot, basically. So I would be careful, you know. It's well, maybe not, and maybe today is the day where you turn into like a professional and you start actually following bankroll management strategies and whatever. But if not, and chances are people are usually not suddenly changing, you might think you can continue now. Maybe you're playing like 10, 20 and 9K roll right now, and there will be a day. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe not, maybe in a week or a month, where you will lose all the profits you made because you haven't really understood and respected and implemented solid bankroll management strategies. And it really will it will cause a lot of pain, let's put it this way. So I would be careful, you know, I would be careful. Imagine I would stake someone, you know, and I'm like, hey, you know, here's $1,000. And he's like, I turned it into 9,000. I'm like, what the hell are you playing? Like, what the hell are you playing? I mean, it's nice to have 9,000, but I'm going to take this guy off my stake immediately because he's probably like playing way too big for the role he has or that I provided him with. Here we 3-bet pre, and I mean, without a backdoor flush draw, we're going to go for the potting option. It's anyway a board where potting is like very dominant in terms of strategy. He ends up having apparently straight draw to backdoor flushes. Okay. Let's see. That's not at all the turn we were looking for. Okay. Jack 8, 6, 3, no spade. It's a rough one to hit. Can we do it though? Come on. The tank on the cash out. Declined. Hit him. Hit him. No. Over on this table, we flop the set. So cold call pre 8866 and flop middle set with 2 6s as a blocker. We can bet, we can check. I think in position though wants to like bet here basically. Now the sun is blending me again. Oh wait, there's a 5k table. Interesting. So over here we raise pre, bet flop. Should we double turn or not? Guess no. I prefer just rivering trips. It blocks the river. I think especially against a no-limit player I want to raise here. But sometimes we get burned by like a 3-bet. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, he can also have ace-queen sometimes, but we're not going to call. Because I'm going to have like ace-9 myself. I'm going to have like some queen-9s myself. And they are like just way better in blocker properties than this one. Ah, Daily Stoic and Discipline is Destiny. This was the Sauna Classes Seminar 24. That's very nice. Hopefully you're going to enjoy these books and they will be helpful to you. Trying to read the questions, but I'm getting blended here. Am I going nuts or do I hear a donkey noise outside? Yeah, there's a donkey down there, actually. I'm not kidding. There is a donkey down there. I think it's part of the Christmas market, basically, which is right in front of my window. So not only donkeys in the table, but also donkeys outside. We 3-bet here against Tom, and it could go a few ways, but I could go like half pot or just go with this one. I was promised 5k. Listen, solid tack. We do actually have a 5k table in the mix. I just need to decide which table I'm going to close. Some sort of 5-10 game. Maybe this game, actually. Yeah, there's the donkey again. There he is. Or she. Stunk is pretty excited. It's time to relax for this donkey. Okay, we're going to replace this slot with the 5k 5-card table. Okay, nice. Flop a flush. That's a very nice river card, obviously. So over here, I don't know if this is a hand that we should call preflop, honestly, but it looks so nice. 10, 7, 7, 6, 5, right? So this could burn me now. Flop goes check, check, we bet turn. I don't know if we should actually bet. There's so many bad rivers, but also when he check raises turn, like we're in a pretty big trouble spot. And then on the river, I think we're just going to check it down here. Oh, he could have check raised with the pocket eights, I guess. Over in this table, we squeezed with ace, jack, jack 5. This guy is already all in. $200 side pot. I guess we're just going to go with a check. Fold. Ace, queen. It's pretty aggressive. Here we're getting squeezed with king, queen, jack, 10, 6. I wonder if this is one of the hands we just want to fold, but on the other side, we're playing very short here. Kind of doubt we want to fold too many hands. Maybe this is one of them, but we're not going to fold. Yeah, obviously, if you're limited... Oh my god, bam! That's why you call king, queen, jack, 10, 6. I knew I'm going to flop jack, jack, jack. But how do we play it now? That's the big question. We're going to check. We're going to check. And then what? I mean, everyone has only $1,000 behind. At some point, Martin is going to be like, I got aces. Let's put the money in. He has to, right? Come on, Martin. Put it in. Aces are good. Do it. Get some value. Someone might have kings and call. Put it in. Nice. I don't think these guys are really going to call that much behind me, but... Yeah, we don't want to like slow roll it too hard is what I'm trying to say. We call. We got it. Against the ace, ace, king, king. A beautiful flop. 5k pot. Let's go. Over here we 4-bet with the ace, king, king, 5. $400, 20 bigs. So far, so good. Take that back. Yeah, obviously when you get limited on stars or whatever poker side, it's not poker stars' decision. Do you think they want to limit you and avoid making money on you? Like, it's obviously the lawmakers that are going to limit you. But the more important part about that is, what's the benefit of like moaning about it to begin with, you know? Like, you need to focus on what you can control. So how the hell do you get out of this, you know? If they want to see your income, you have two options. Either you generate some sort of paper that shows an income, and also, if you pay taxes in the first place, you do have an income, right? Like, I don't understand. But anyway, let's imagine you don't have any papers. Then the only thing you can do is like move to a different country. You know, like the moaning, as bad as it sounds, like it doesn't help you at all. Like, what's the point of it? What do you want, you know? Like, what are you expecting the reactions to be? And also, like, even if the reactions are like, oh, you're, you know, that's really unfortunate and all this stuff, it's not going to help you. It's just not going to help you, you know? In your shoes, you should be like, what's my new reality? All right, it is, I have to provide papers here to play. Okay, what's my next move? What is my next move? You know, the longer you fill the room, the more you fill the room with like feeling, you know, pity for yourself and all this stuff, the more energy and time you take away from actually finding a solution. So you're just punting basically, you know, like you're punting by just wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this like upsets you or whatever. It just doesn't. It doesn't help the solution, you know? So find a solution, man. Go out there, find a solution, you know? I lived in a country where they took away the ability to play online at all for like 2.5 years, and I didn't know for how long it will hold on, you know? You know? So what did I do? You know, made some moves. Went to a different country, rented an office, traveled every single fucking day in order to make my dream happen. You think like moaning around was going to help me? Like, no. Isn't, man. J is a top G, man. That's what I wanted to hear. Top G. Yeah, top G wouldn't win around, that's for sure. Top G. This guy, what is happening here? I raised, he defends, and check flop. Oh, he has a, oh, there's a 7. I see. I thought it was like 7-7-7. So he bets turn and river. The thing though is, there are also a lot of draws that I don't block. I don't know. I think we can call here sometimes. It's a pretty like welcoming bet size though. I'm not really sure if it's going to do this with the bluff. But I think I have pretty good removal stuff. How does this even make sense? Was he like value betting, or I guess so. That's an interesting hint. This guy limps. Check, flop. Call turn. Check. And we win. So now that you have made sure, here I can read it now. So now that you have made sure that there are in fact donkeys outside, we can confirm that it is because of the donkeys. The more you understand them in order to exploit them on the table. That's exactly right. I moved closer to the donkeys so that I can really understand what they're all about. What is Doug Polk doing outside? Listen, it's kind of a cheap one, but I don't mind it too much. What's going on here? So this is a 4-way single raise pot. This guy bets turn and then checks on the river. I mean, you could definitely have a better hand, and I don't think like Worse is calling that often. Like, it's gonna have a bluff, obviously, like reasonably often, and so on. Then at the 5K table, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. This is a very nice looking hand, but I don't think the solver. Well, what do you guys think? Actually, let's bring it in. Let's kick it in. I mean, this perfectly connected with the 2 suits exactly, like having the straight flush potential as well. The 7, 6 of clubs, which actually does matter for the solver, believe it or not. So we are putting it into the 3-bet just to flop absolute garbage on ace. Well, I mean, there are some magical turns. We're just going to use this like small sizing given the SBR. There are some magical turns, obviously. And also we have to just bet. But I think we're going to get jammed here like reasonably often, obviously. I mean, at the end of the day, it's 5 card and we don't block much. Wow, it's not. I mean, that's not the magical turn card. Although it provides a little bit of hope. I don't really see a jam coming in. I mean, I don't really see us jamming here. We're just going to see a free card. Hit him. Okay, we have a straight, guys. We have a straight. It's not the nut straight. It's not the second nut straight. It is not the third nut straight. It is just the straight, okay? Check, please. Please. Yeah, we just can't win here. There's just no world we can win in here at all. Take it down. Are you in Bragans right now? I am right now in Bragans, yes. Much stuff going on here. I watch your content now and then on YouTube, and I just wanted to say I appreciate all the content you put out there. Glad I caught this live stream. Appreciate this very much. Unknown Chip Magnet. Interesting name. How good is your memory? I don't know how good my memory is. Probably not that good, to be honest. I'm not really trying to memorize random stuff, I guess. It's only this much that can fit in your head. Gotta be very selective. 10, 10, 6 deuce. I mean, not a stellar hand, but we did open. And we could even bet with the super short stack and the big blind, you know. Creating some pressure for the small blind. Glad to see you streaming more often again. Always great content. I appreciate that. Okay, so now we're talking about it's not a dry side pot. There's actually some stuff going on. Oh no, this is not good. I mean, just check. This is no good. I don't think this guy should like ever lead anyway. Like, how is this card good for his range? Actually, you don't even see the table. It was an upsetting hand anyway. It's all good. It's all good. So let me play. A little bit of music here. Is short stacking at 5 card less viable versus 4 card? No, it's still equally powerful, I think. It might be more powerful currently given the meta that too many people are playing too many hands. Short stacking is always powerful. 2 cards, 4 cards, 5 cards, 6 cards. Just don't tell anyone. Let's keep it a secret. It's a nice hand to end things here in the 5K table. Do you remember playing with a Lebanese guy from Sydney, Australia at the Bellagio 4 or 5 years ago? I think actually I do. Not even kidding. But I don't really know more than just that. The thing that you just said, basically. That's nice of Scareboy to not take another button there. It's a respectable move by a respectable player and individual. Respect. Unlocker says, inspired by you and Minton, I started streaming PLO Cash MTT in Russian, my native language. Thank you for all the courses you made in the Mastermind. I'm a member since one, I guess, day one. That's very nice. That's very nice. Sometimes I forget also like how many years have already passed since I started making content and all this stuff. Life just slips through my fingers. For all of us. Tom with the 3-bet checks the flop. Okay, so he goes for check call. Gonna put max pressure now. I mean, we could also use a different sizing. I don't really see the benefit of it though. We just don't want to see ace with hearts. That would be a little bit bad. We don't mind 9-7 too much, no hearts, you know. Oh, we're actually favorites. Yes, he 3-bets Jack 10 8-3. Holy moly! Who would have thought? But can we hit? We need to connect. Oh my god, 3 of clubs? Jesus, what a card. 62% equity against a better mate hand on the turn. Well, that 3-bet was definitely surprising. How do you like Austria comparatively to Switzerland? I don't really know Austria that well, to be honest. You know, I only know Bregenz. And I would say that in general, I mean, I would say in general, like Switzerland is nicer, but also this is kind of a specific, very special place where I'm at right now. I'm actually gonna go to Vienna next week or the week after. I'm gonna go to Vienna to visit Vienna for 4 days because I'm considering to move to Vienna. And I think there's a high chance I'm gonna like Vienna a lot more than like Switzerland, for example. Because it's a big city, it's international, like all this stuff. High quality of living, a lot of good people around. They have like different historical buildings, good architecture, you know, like a lot of businesses going on there. So I think I'm gonna like Vienna a lot. I hope so, at least. And then I'll move to Vienna like within this year, something like that. Nice. This is Nick from the airport. Yeah, I randomly met this guy on the airport in Denver, who's also in the mastermind. Appreciate it. He says he's crushing the games on global lately. Nice to see you grinding. His playing experience are really helping my game. Shout out to you, Nick. Yeah, that was interesting because I guess I traveled from Madrid to Denver and then from Denver to Vegas, and I was like, you know, when I'm in Vegas, I'm at the Aria Poker Room. Obviously, like, people know me and I get into all sorts of different encounterments, but didn't expect anything like that at a random airport in the US. But it was nice. Okay, we're gonna call a 3-bet and look for a juicy 7, like 7-3 deuce rain. Hit him. It's queen 6 deuce. Not quite. Also 2 hearts. Lost Paradise, what's up? Good luck, JNandez, appreciate it. Goes for half pot. Still have to call here once, see some turns. Maybe we'll have to become creative on certain runouts. How do you explain to someone that excuses are never helpful, even if the excuse is a legitimate one? The message is true, but it can be hard to convey in a way that doesn't sound cold and uncaring. Well, first of all, I think it's important, like when you sort of like level up, quote unquote, in the game of life, it's important to understand that usually you start developing some sort of urge to help other people because you experience like how helpful it was for yourself to go through a certain like transformation, you can say. And that can be quite a frustrating experience because, you know, everyone is different and a lot of people are not capable of changing the way you changed. And so the first thing to realize is that you can't change anyone, basically. You can't change anyone. You really can't, because they only can change themselves. So let's say you say something like, you know what, you seem to be very, you seem to have a lot of excuses, and what you don't realize is that they will never help you or improve your life, right? Let's say you say it this way, and it sounds like uncaring, kind of cold, and nothing happens, you know, like they're not going to change. Chances are, it doesn't matter how you're going to say it, they will never change. That's the reality. So it doesn't even matter. It's sort of like in which way you're going to say it in terms of their change. Now, it matters in the sense that he might think you're a huge asshole if you're saying it cold, But I think the easiest way to sort of is by preface it and saying like, hey, look, I don't mean this in like a demeaning way. I just talk from like my own experience, but like making excuses, looking for reasons why certain things are not working is like you're basically bringing all this shit into existence by just making it your reality. You're talking the problems into existence in some ways. And from my perspective, from my reality, from my experience, this just never helps anyone, especially not yourself. And by prefacing it by saying I don't want to be cold, I don't want to be like I'm trying to help you basically, it can be helpful for the relationship. But I think the most helpful thing for the relationship is for you to realize that you probably cannot change anyone, or you actually can't change anyone, and that after a few trials or like pointing someone in the right direction, if they don't change, then just be okay with that, and don't bother the individual trying to like keep changing them. The only times you should continuously pursuing to change someone is if they actually sort of tell you that they appreciate it and they want to get pushed and they want to change and they want your help. If they say it themselves, please help me, which almost never happens, then do it. But if they don't tell you, hey, I'm looking for this advice, I'm looking to get help here, how can you support me, If they don't say any of these things, then don't do it, because again, they have to change themselves. You cannot change anyone. And I think the urge in itself to help other people in this particular spot where you sort of leveled up and understood something about life and you're trying to influence someone else, has a selfish component to it as well, where you're trying to sort of vicariously live through them. You're trying to create this experience again by helping someone else. So I think it's important that you realize that what you're actually doing is, in some ways, it is trying to help someone, but also you're really just trying to help yourself in some ways, and that's not needed. Like, it's fine. You made a transformation, you're leveling up, it's all good. If someone else is approaching you, is trying to find some help, and they're actually willing to put it into action, accept that. If they are not, accept that as well. Hey, you are always looking for, like, you're a person that is always looking for excuses. Like, I don't think it's gonna work, sorry. Fine. That's completely fine. Like, I don't think it's going to work in terms of like them improving at life or your relationship with them. But at the end of the day, you can't change anyone, and you need to find your peace with that. What you want to do is you want to ideally, right? Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to surround myself with people that are changing themselves because they want to, right? And they are looking for advice, and they're looking to improve, and they're looking to level up. And we're doing it together in that way. We're exchanging information, what works, what doesn't work, where are opportunities, where are not opportunities. What do I want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? How can we complementate each other, right? That's the circle of friends I'm trying to surround myself with. And if someone doesn't fit in, then I don't really want to be surrounded by them, because it's not a mutual exchange, essentially. That's why I'm saying it can be very tough to cut people out, but it's extremely necessary if you care about your own trajectory of life. And also, at the end of the day, your own happiness. You got to protect yourself. You have to protect your spirit, your happiness, your trajectory first before you can influence other people in a positive way anyway. Hey, JNandez, I play PLO 5 or 5-card PLO since a week. Last year I can't win with all aces heads up. Do you ever run bad for a long time? Yeah, of course. I play poker since 15 years. Of course. Who cares? Suapix, one of our coaches in the PLO Mastermind, released the video today. It's called The 5 Rules of the Punt Club. Or the rules of the punt club, something like that. And one of the rules that he established is every downswing lasts as long as it lasts, Spending time, energy, thought, anything, emotions, thinking about your downswing and how long it will last is complete waste because you have no control over it at all. So you thinking about how long will this downswing last, no one knows. And spending time thinking about it is a complete waste of energy. No one knows. The only thing you should focus on is like, what can you control? Now that you have less money, for example, you have a smaller bankroll, maybe you have less confidence even. What's the next step for you? Do you want to move down in limits? Do you want to take a break? Do you want to play less tables? Like, do you want to get a coach? What's your next step? That's something you want to focus on, not how long will this downswing last, or did you have a long downswing? It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything for you, you know? Just focus on what you can control. And the duration and the severity of the downswing is all outside of your control. Switzerland is the best country, but there are online poker restrictions. I honestly, like, the more I travel, the more I highly doubt it is the best country to live in. I mean, I'm born in Switzerland and I've spent there the first like 35 years of my life. And honestly, like, the more I think about it and the more stuff I see more objectively, I think we're just like all really biased living in Switzerland, because there's this whole like narrative when you are a Swiss citizen of like, hey, you should be happy to live in this country, which you should. But it doesn't mean it's the best country ever to live in, you know? There are a lot of countries, there are like 195 countries in the world, and a lot of them have different qualities, you know, different people, mentalities, cultures, opportunities, safety, excitement. Like, it's, if you put all of that on a scale, do you really think that Switzerland is going to come at the very top, at the very, very top? I don't think so. I'm going to give a little 3-bet here against Leonid. This quite dry board, we're gonna go with 1/3. Is Switzerland boring to you? Switzerland is not boring. Like, I have very good friends here, I have family here. I mean, here I'm not in Switzerland right now, but at the border basically. A country in itself is not boring, you know? Like, I think if Switzerland is boring, it just means your life is boring, or you as an individual are boring. I have exciting times in Switzerland, but also I do understand the value of traveling around and seeing different things and cultures and excitement, and, you know, just like moving in general is like is valuable in itself, honestly. So like, the thing is, this is what I told my parents, you know, at the Christmas dinner. I was like, there's the feeling of coming back to Switzerland is just, you can't fake the contrast that you experience, the contrast of perception that you feel when you haven't been in your home country for like months, maybe even years. You come back and you see things you have never seen or paid attention to before, you know? You see certain things and appreciate them, that, you know, like the landscape, for example, the culture, mentality, certain small things, products, just the way the streets are labeled. It could be different things, the weather, for example, right? Like, you see things in a completely different light because you haven't seen them for a while, and then you really appreciate being in that country for that moment or period of time, or that day or the month, whatever it is, right? So when I come back to Switzerland, I find a completely new level of appreciation for being able to be in this country for some time. But the contrast only exists obviously because I'm exposed to something else for a good period of time, you know? So I think that's why there's a lot of value in moving, because you move away from something, and when you come back and see it again, you really appreciate it a ton. So even in Vegas, when I spent 3 months in Vegas, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm not tilted or something, but I'm like, yeah, I've seen Vegas for 3 months. Like, it was a good time, but like, let me see something else. And then when I come back to Vegas, I'm like, I'm ready for Vegas. This is an amazing city. Let's go. How much weed did you smoke in Vegas, man? I don't smoke weed. Honestly, I don't know many people that smoke weed that I would consider as like really sharp, you know, when it comes to like life attitude and just like their ability to, yeah, just be sharp in general. Maybe there are some, but I definitely know a lot of examples that smoke weed like a lot, and I would definitely not consider them as like sharp. So I have like no interest. I don't need weed, if that makes sense. I don't think it's gonna make my life better. I saw a lot of people slow down on weed, like not only on that day, but like in general. I've seen that for some people, it actually seems to work well when it comes to, I don't know, maybe they're more productive on wheat. But I think for most people, that's just an excuse because there are some outliers that are more productive on wheat. But I think most people have like long-term effects on it that it slows them down, like their mental abilities. So I don't really see the benefit, to be honest, for myself. But everyone has to find their own thing, you know. We called 4 and get it in, just as standard as it gets. 3.5k pot against queens. We're gonna give him the twice. We're gonna give him the twice. It's just the action hand, the queens. Oh my god. Turns 2 pair. We need a 4-5. This is not mine. Can we split? Yes, we split. How do you train to play more tables at once? I can't play more than 3 to 4 at once. I play tournaments. I think just through repetition, honestly, you know, just through repetition. But also, I think one big part of it is studying the game, because the more you study the game, the more you can play many spots in automation, because it's just an automatic spot. For example, in tournaments, right? Like you have 15 big blinds or 12 big blinds, 10 big blinds, whatever it is. When you go to the flop, there are a lot of spots that are quite standard. And the more you study them, the faster you know what to do. The faster you know what to do, the more tables you can play. So I think studying is a good way of becoming faster and then therefore being able to play more tables. Another 3-bet we call. 10 says, you're a great JNandez. Greetings from Croatia. I've been in Croatia before as well, but many years ago. It was pretty nice. Pretty nice weather and beach and food. Maybe it's time to go back at some point. Shout out back to Croatia. Playing 3 tables right now. Oh, there's a 10-20 potentially opening up. We'll see. Hey, JNandez, did you ever been in Bratislava? If yes, did you like it? I haven't been there yet before. I think there isn't there like a poker casino or something in Bratislava. Maybe at some point it's time to go. It's gonna be a raise fold pre here, ace king queen 7. There are definitely some places that I still want to go to. We'll get it in over here. Bet the queens. We will also call this 4-bet here in a second. Can't really get away from this hand. We do have a little bit of fold equity on the flop, like he doesn't necessarily have to have aces in this situation. Even if he has aces, there are some aces that could also fold. Like these aces are also definitely one of the weaker ones. Once or twice, 2 times with the open ender and the flush draw now. Oh, that's not the right flush. We lose twice, unfortunately. Over here, huge hand pre. I don't know why everyone is sitting out on this table. What's going on? obviously great flop. What is your ideal starting bankroll? First of all, relax with the cap. With the But 50 binds is not enough. No, it is fucking not enough. Not at all. Like, you need to go at least 100 binds, preferably 200 binds. All in on the flop here, up against the nut flush draw, nut gutter. One time, baby. I feel it one time this time. You know, sometimes you just gotta feel it, you know what I mean? No diamond, no ace, no queen. Perfect. Perfect situation. That's unfortunate. Over here, we squeezed. Money goes in on the flop. That's all you need to know really about this. A lot of diamonds out there. It's kind of scary. Okay, we're good so far. Oh, we win. Big hand over here. And we also have a big table over here playing 100, 200 right now. Starting with $10,000. I'm actually going to open less than pot here. I just went on a holiday visa this visit, but I'm working on like a work type of visa, business visa for Vegas. So one table of 100, 200 in the mix as well. How many tables are you playing? I'm playing 4 tables right now. Although I'm closing one of the tables, which is very short-handed. So we can focus on the 3 tables here. There are also like a couple of better tables running anyway. Different spots. Like I'm on some waiting lists basically. Do you like the new feature that... Wait, what happens here? Oh, okay, it's a different table. It's like, what? Do you like the new feature that cards glow when you get a good hand? I like the glowing thing, yeah. The chip shuffle seems unnecessary to me, but I also disabled it. But I like the glowing of the cards. Who's an example of someone who is the best at game selection live? Any stories around mediocre players who crush because they play in the best games? I would say like the players that are really good game selecting, you probably don't know any of them. Because that's the whole point, you know? Like the amount of people even in Vegas, this game dies. Oh, wait, we cannot sit out this way. The amount of people like in live poker in general, or even in Vegas, that are like pretending they're not professional poker players, but they actually are, is a lot, you know, and that's pretty smart. Yeah, I don't really play poker for a living. I have like this other thing going, but they play poker every day in like super high stakes games. Like, of course they're professional poker players, right? I think game selection is something that it is like, it's a life skill, you know. It's not only game selection, it's more like, I guess there are like different aspects to it. Let me just rearrange my stuff here 1 second. So I think what a lot of people maybe underestimate is that everyone gives away a certain like vibe and energy, you know, like every individual, right? Like you can, like if the more experienced you are in life, like reading people, having seen different people, people with money, people with no money, people that play, that need the money they make playing poker, people that have a meaningful part of their bankroll on the table, people that don't, etc., etc. Everyone gives away a certain energy, you know? And in general, like the people that can do the best games, they don't give away that energy of like, you know, they're not EV whoring around, so to speak, you know? They're not like, oh, I really need like every single pot, every single piece of EV. I'm nerding it out in poker. Like they have real life skills essentially, and they give away that kind of energy essentially. And that allows them to not be seen as a threat, first of all, which is very important. We're gonna raise here. But also it just makes them, it's more enjoyable to be around people like that, you know, who just have life sort of like figured out in a more holistic way. And you feel like, oh, this guy is actually kind of interesting guy. Like, yeah, he plays poker and he plays pretty good, but he also has like good stories. He has interesting things to know. He knows different kind of people. He doesn't really squeeze out every piece of EV out of the game. You know, he's pleasurable to be around. Sometimes he's gambling. Maybe sometimes he's even tilting. Like all this kind of stuff is important, you know? And a lot of poker players that are playing either not for a living or playing like lower stakes or whatever it is, you know, they are giving away an energy that a lot of people that they themselves are not aware of, that doesn't allow them to go into or be in certain circles, so to speak, you know, surround themselves with certain people. And the people that get into private games, they don't give away that energy, and that's why they are in private games. You just have to ask yourself, like, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Why would someone want to have you in the game? And, you know, there are some professional players like Phil Ivey, for example, where it's like, well, if I'm a recreational billionaire, of course I want to play with Phil Ivey, you know, because like it's cool. I can tell my friends. So he brings something to the table automatically, you know, like his entire career, his entire charisma, like all this stuff he brings it to the table. Of course you want to play with him, even though he's a pro. We get paid off here, actually. Pretty interesting. So I think it's kind of lazy and also super easy and convenient for some like nerd poker players to be like, oh, I never get into a private game and like all this stuff. Yeah, it's because like you don't really have anything to offer, you know. Of course, like I would also prefer if every single game is open, but I just accept the rules in the way they are, and I think about like, okay, do I want to play this game? Do I want to play this game? This game of, you know, private games, for example. And in some ways, the game of private games sort of reflects as well sort of the game of life, you know, like people that have influence, people that have money, they decide who they want to be surrounded with or by. And the same thing is true for private games. It's the whale with the money who says like, I like this guy, I don't like this guy. He's not going to join. He's not going to play. Why? Well, I don't know. I just don't like him. Doesn't give away good energy, you know, doesn't really have anything to offer. Never straddles, never has anything interesting to tell. Kind of rude, kind of nerdy, you know, don't really like his vibe. I think that's something that a lot of people aren't aware of. They are not even aware that they give away that kind of vibe, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So in that way, like poker is a good school, especially as you move up in ranks and limits and circles of like moving up in life as well. I can give some examples. I can give some like examples of behaviors that give away bad vibes in poker in general, right? It's like things that I experienced in Vegas, for example. So I'm Swiss, right? And Switzerland has different languages Like the official language of Switzerland is not one language. We have actually 4 official languages, which are German, French, Italian, and old language almost no one knows, which is called, in German it's called Rätoromanisch. Anyway, Switzerland has multiple languages. One of them is German. My native language is German, right? When I'm in Vegas, I don't want to talk German to anyone, to 0 people. I don't want to talk German to anyone, right? And a lot of people that are also from either Germany or they are from Switzerland, they approach me with this like, hey, how are you doing? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that at the table in German. And I'm completely turned off. I don't want to talk German ever when I'm in the US, ever. Because that's not like, you're not going to like, it's just bad for the table, you know? Like, why would in a social environment where 8 people are sitting and they're all playing the same game, why would 2 people just talk on their own language? That's like extremely antisocial. Why would you do that at all, you know? I'm gonna run one time here. Feel strong about these clubs. Clubs. No king. Uh-oh. Oh my god, what a turn card. He has a flush draw and a straight draw. And the kings, how can we ever win? Let's go, we can win. There you go. Positive energy, you know? Positive energy. So all I'm saying is that for all the guys, for all the Euros that make their way to Vegas, stop fucking talking your language. It's so bad for everything. It's bad for yourself. It's bad for the game. It's bad for anyone. No one appreciates it. No one likes it. No one likes it, okay? So if you even can barely speak English, just speak English, that's it. And also, on a side note, if you see me, please don't approach me in any other language than English. I don't care about talking German in Vegas at all. I want to fit in. I want to adjust to the culture in the US, in Vegas. I want to be part of it, you know? Not to get into private games, but in order to fit into society, you know? And by coming in and talking in your own language, no one understands what the hell you're saying. Everyone thinks you're going to talk about them behind their back in some sort of pity way. You're not going to fit in. You're going to alienate yourself by doing that. I don't want that. So for all the Euros that go out there, even all the I've seen people from South America even worse than the Euros. I guess it's also because they speak English even worse. But at the same time, man, stop speaking in Spanish at the poker table in Vegas, you know? It's just not good for anyone, especially not for yourself. So in terms of like social dynamics, learn what it means to fit in, to be part of a group, to be part of a society, okay? And please, for all the guys out there, if you see me in Vegas, never approach me in German. I don't appreciate it at all. I don't want to talk German in English. I don't want to talk German in the US ever, basically. Not interested. Yo, buddy, great fun to catch you live for once. Been watching a lot recent 2 years and had an amazing PLO session at my live local club this year, winning some of the biggest parts of my life. That sounds pretty good. Tell us more. Appreciate the comment. Yeah, they only put me on the blocker. It's like, is this guy check raising the turn with some blocker stuff? I had the nizzles. Sometimes you gotta make a big call, you know? This time it was wrong though. Maybe this table's gonna break as well. By the way, if you guys like the stream, enjoy the poker and life knowledge for whatever it's worth. Smash the like button. It helps the channel to grow, which is important to me. So if you want to give something back, then you can do that by smashing the like button over on YouTube. Maybe even subscribe. That would be nice as well. Yeah, the 5K table is gonna break. Again, against Leonid. Getting squeezed over here. Check by the squeezer. That's interesting. Small bet by Martin. We have to call. It's not a fantastic spot. It is what it is. What kind of turn do we need? How and when did you become this type of guru? You know, that's an interesting question, actually. From Victor. Haven't you been like a run at once coach or something when I see this name? Oh man, we see the check Rizzle by what, like aces in a flush draw? Yeah, we just can't call, unfortunately. I guess he has like aces and flush draw. Let's see. So the question about how and when did you become this type of, I think the first, you know, okay, let's see. We hit, do you really have aces? Or maybe like not flush draw, straight draw, like the whole thing. I think when you create content in general, there are different strategies, okay, when it comes to creating content. I mean, maybe that's a weird way to like start this conversation. When you make content, you have to think about like, why are you making content to begin with? What are you trying to share with the world, right? Get check raised here. I think we gotta like float this one. Actually, I don't think we have to float this one actually even, because it's very unlikely he's like semi-bluffing. It's kind of a good price, but we're still gonna fold. So as a content creator, right? Even if you're not a content creator and just like in your circle of friends, for example, you have to think about like, why do you even speak? What message are you trying to share? How do you create value in the world, right? And it's not something other people like attribute to you. It is a decision that you have to make for yourself, right? There's an impactful, you can say, quote or message that I picked up from Jordan Peterson when someone asked him how. So he was in an interview. So Jordan Peterson was asked in an interview, how challenging is it to have this much responsibility attached to you by the world, right? Because he's creating content, he's creating controversy, he makes people think, he's out there sharing his ideas, and it impacts people. And the question sort of implies that because of that, he has the responsibility, and that responsibility has been created by the people he talks to, right? And his response is, it's not about how much responsibility they give me, it's how much responsibility I take, right? So it's your decision as a human, as a content creator, as a friend, as a father, as a boyfriend, whatever it is, right? As a son, you have to ask yourself in the world, how much responsibility do you want to take in this world, right? And responsibility for what? And when I make content, obviously I make content about poker hands, and that's fine. It's my field of expertise. but my appeal is to do more than that. I want to take more responsibility about other areas of life, right? It's my decision to take on that responsibility. And then when you do that and you take on that responsibility, you want to ask yourself, well, how do I want to impact the world? What kind of message do I want to share? And how do I become better and sharper at sharing that message? What are my fields of expertise where I'm trying to learn more about those fields, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm not only thinking about poker, but I'm also thinking about other fields and informing myself, learning more about them. I learn more about communication. I learn more about taking a position, right? And then putting the position forward in some sort of, context, trying to help people about certain subjects in life. And I think when you do that and you take on more responsibility, in general, your life gets more fulfilling because now your life makes sense. And it doesn't matter if you're a content creator or if you're a husband or a father or a son or whatever it is, or a friend. Think about where can you take responsibility or more responsibility, take on more responsibility in your life for other people, and in which way do you want to impact them? And once you make that decision and you understand also why you're doing it, so it's your passion, it's your calling, whatever it is, then you develop expertise and knowledge. Okay, I want to help young people to find their way in the world. Okay, let's say for example that could be a subject area. Well, the first thing I have to do is I have to be a role model. Okay, so how do I become a role model? I have to get my shit together first, because talk is cheap, but you have to achieve something yourself before you can speak from authority and experience, right? You have to acquire some level of wisdom. And even though I don't claim I have all the wisdom, I'm making a conscious effort to get my life in order so I can actually impact the world from an authentic perspective. And then secondary, once you have accomplished something and you have improved yourself, then the next step is to think about, well, what did I learn? And how do I want to share this in a way that is appealing and impactful and can be digested by a larger audience? Okay, so, then there are certain subjects on the table, right? For example, how do you conduct yourself in live poker? Or how do you move up the ranks of life? How do you become happy? Or how do you create interesting life experiences? How do you find your purpose? How do you create goals? How do you create clarity? All these things are things that I've worked on for hundreds of hours for my own sake, but mostly in order to spread the word out there and find purpose behind being a role model and, changing the world in the way that I can change the world, essentially, that I decided to change the world by taking on more responsibility. So maybe that's something that speaks to some people listen to this and they're like, how much responsibility do I take in life? And it's very easy when you have a child to understand the importance of it, right? Oh, I have a child. How much responsibility for that individual's life, well-being, mindset, success, health? How much responsibility do I take on? And usually, I guess most people would say well, maximum responsibility, maximum, all out, everything. But then when you expand that and say well, but how much responsibility do I take on for my friends or my parents or just people that are listening to my content, that's the next level then. Mr. Uri Pelek, we're coming in with the 4-ball, blind on blind. We got the aces. I'm buying your ebook right now. Thanks for streaming. Oh, he puts in the 5-ball. We're going to go one time. Okay, just one time. Uri, I have a good feeling. If he has aces, it's going to be one time on automation. Oh, spades. Oh, spade. Spade on the turn. 3 of spades. We have a straight draw. So we can work with a 3 or with any spade. We basically have to win, right? How can we miss? Oh, no. 3 of clubs. No. I mean, it's fine. Don't want to be too greedy. Split the pot. Good play. Yeah, it was a great play. Getting it in with aces free. Victor says, no offense intended. I like it. Don't worry. It's all good. Questions that on a surface level a peer kind of route oftentimes are good because they create some sort of discussion, you know. That's all good. Don't worry about offending me. I've been on the freaking internet for like 10 years or something like that. I developed some thicker skin, I guess, in the last couple of years. This is a call. I mean, how do we fold Jack 10-9, right? Imagine looking up to Jordan Peterson. Like, it's interesting, Kyle, you know, because when you think about like all the metrics of success, if you think about like basically any aspect of success and you put them next to each other, like in which metric of success are you outperforming Jordan Peterson? Just think about that. And then let us know in the chat on which metric of success are you outperforming Jordan Peterson at all. You know, maybe that's like a good perspective to think about when it comes to comparing yourself with like others and saying like, hey, who should I look up to? Maybe someone that is just outperforming you in every aspect of success that is possible. Humility, man, humility. We see a flop bet and a turn bet. We can't fold this hand yet, but it will be tricky on the river. So the river is a 5. So it comes to flop bet, turn bet, and now on the river you have to make a decision then. I think I want to call here like quite often with this hand. I guess I would prefer to have like the queen as well. But you can't always choose. I think if he has a hand like a lot of the aces with the flush draw, not necessarily betting the flop unless they have like a jack 10 that I block or jack 10-9 that I block. But there's like some 6-7x combos or like ace queen of hearts that could also definitely bet the flop. So we have some reasonable blocker properties here. And I also don't think this type of player necessarily slows down with a hand like ace, ace, deuce. It's not great. Doesn't really feel like we're gonna win here a lot. Also have no flops. Yeah. Call. Bam! Let's go. Sometimes you just gotta press call, you know? Sometimes you gotta press call. Okay. Interesting comment by Lou. He says, Kyle, what is wrong with Peterson? Just because you and your incel friends on Reddit don't like him? I like the music selection by Glenn. Yeah, I mean, it's copy-free right music, you know, it's not the best of the best, not the creme de la creme, but I appreciate the comment. At the table, you speak English, but when you go for lunch or dinner with someone that speaks your language. What? At the table, you speak English, sure, but when you go for lunch or dinner with someone that speaks your language. I mean, if we're heads up and we both speak German as our first native language, we obviously speak German. There's no one else involved. There's no rudeness or misfit into society or whatever in place, right? Why do you raise less than pot from the button? Is it because of the short stacking? Yeah, usually that is because of short stacking. When someone is short stacking, there's an incentive basically to raise smaller. For a German, you speak great English, by the way. Not many German or German-speaking people do. I appreciate this very much. I am not German, by the way. I'm Swiss, but if you actually Google Swiss person speaking English, I hope that they have a much stronger accent than me. So I'm working on that. I'm still working. I like language. I think language is very, very powerful. Like being good at language or talking, speaking, presenting, thinking. I think it's very valuable in this day and age. And language is obviously the gateway through it to it. So I'm working on that. You know, it's one of the skills that I'm looking to actively improve on. Uri, what's up? We call. We got top pair and a backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. So we can't let this hand go yet. He goes for the small bet. There's a little bit of a no limit play here. I mean, it's not necessarily bad. Like the solver would also use this sizing sometimes. But I'm just saying like most racks wouldn't use this sizing necessarily, but it is an interesting one. It's a difficult one to sort of pull off in some ways, I guess. Turn is very bad, obviously. Doesn't really get better by the river. Fold, fold, fold. So in a way, also you improve yourself and grow. You like to talk also about that mindset. Right. So in a way, also to improve yourself and grow, you like to talk about also about that mindset life topic. Sure. I mean, there's like a level of, you know, some people call it, what is it called? Some people call it affirmations, right? Some people call it self-hypnosis. I saw Top G, aka Andrew Tate, talking about self-hypnosis, which is basically the similar concept to affirmations. You know, how often do you say the words "I am powerful," "I am competent"? Actually say them, because the more often you say these things, you know, like the more they sort of creep into your mind, and then you bring them into existence by just speaking them. You know, speaking is very powerful to your subconscious mind. So I think the more often you talk about the way you see yourself in the world and how each of them work, basically, the tremendous benefits behind that. Just like formulating your thoughts, you know, in a concise way, even to yourself. Here we see bet, bet, bet. I mean, it kind of sucks that we have yeah, I don't know. This is a very spicy race. I don't really think people are going to believe this too much, but I'm just going to throw it in there for a little spice, you know, a little spice. A little spice against Leonid. Maybe we have the best hand anyway, but it's kind of an interesting play sometimes. We tanks this long when we don't have the best hand. Imagine he calls it a hand like ace queen and we win, but it's pretty unlikely that he value bets ace queen. I mean, he could value bet ace queen, but we prefer to fold. Oh wow, that sucks. Maybe he's bluffing with ace queen and we call down now. This would be sick. I don't think that's a good play though. I wonder what he has. Does he really have queens? Or is like 9-9 also value shopping at this point? Well, I mean, imagine he has ace queen. Goes bet flop, bet turn. Problem is we're getting 10-1 and he's representing pocket queens. But who's bluffing at 10-1 ever? And the answer is nobody. So calling 10-1 is a good price, man, but I wouldn't even know what hand he would bluff with. If he had like ace queen, why not just call if he wants to like play that hand? Nah, we're gonna save the 300. Save the 300. Imagine a bluff would be sick. That would be like a bluff I can't ever forget. Or with another 3-bet. Relentless. Relentless. Not sure if he's going after me. Are we still on delay or not? Or is he just seeing my hands in real time? Let's go look. No, we have a delay. All right. Let's see how this small bet size works here. We're gonna have 2 pair, and we have 2 pair, and we rip. Pretty scary run out though. It's going with the not sure if as well. I work for a consulting firm. 1 second. I work for a consulting firm that responsibilities speech that responsibilities speech is everything in our firm, but also a trap. When you go for responsibility, it is very, very easy to get trapped, trap city, and find yourself burned out by responsibilities. Yeah, you have to be obviously very aware, you know, what responsibilities do you really want to take on, because sometimes people burden you with responsibilities that you shouldn't take on, right? That's why you have to choose your own responsibilities. I mean, if you have a boss, they're going to choose your responsibilities to a certain degree, but I think like I'm talking more about like the big life responsibilities. So it's a very interesting topic. I didn't found personally my balance yet, 3.5 years in. I mean, I don't think you need to find a balance of responsibility necessarily, because it's a moving target, you know, at different stages in your life, you're going to have the urge to fulfill different levels of responsibility in your life, right? For example, when you have a child at 32, you're going to automatically probably feel the urge to take on a lot more responsibility than when you were 22 and you had no child. And I think beyond just having a child, there are many other avenues in life where you can choose to actively take on more responsibility if you choose to do so. Where did you come up with the scratch for that? You've been selling coaching in the village again, haven't you? In the village? What does that even mean? Oh shit, we have the wrong table up. And sometimes in the multitasking. It's a multitask heavy. I appreciate all the comments, guys. We have a lot of comments in the chat, and I'm trying to play 4 tables of high stakes and balance it with the comments. Oh yeah, the river decision you guys didn't see. Okay. What should a no limit player do when they want to switch to PLO? It's very simple. You just get as much information as possible about PLO. Check out the PLO Mastermind, plmastermind.com, and learn the game. That's what you should do. Learn the game. Oh, we have a rapid 2 backdoor flushes against Uri. Is he gonna go small again? If so, we're gonna rip insta rip. If he goes pot, I mean, we're just gonna get it in, man. We have king queen 9. Now he goes pot. Might have to go once. Depends how we feel. Let's see. How do we feel? How do we feel? I think we feel like one time it's gonna come in. Okay, one time, baby. Just one time. He has, oh my god, he has me dominated. Then definitely one time. 8. That's rough. Not even a flush draw. Ace for the split. Ace of spades. Ah, it's a jack. It looked like a really good flop. Ended up being a very bad flop. I think a big difference is here is the pressure that comes automatically from the company. In JNandez perspective, he can choose how much responsibility he wants to take. I mean, there are always responsibilities that are created by other people, right? And of course, if you have a job, there's more of that. But I think even outside of your job, you have to think about, okay, I have this job 40 hours, 50 hours a week. But then apart from that job, what are other responsibilities that I want to have in my life? And do I want to have? Because the thing is, like, you need responsibilities, man, because it's going to make your life better. You can have more direction. This guy check calls flop and then bets river. I don't really like my hand to call down with. I mean, maybe he turns kings into a bluff, but probably not. I like affirmations. I also like to talk positive things if we have this topic with my friends and my brother. I also like to listen to positive affirmations before going to sleep. Yeah, that's good. I think that's definitely like undervalued. But I hope it's on delay. Yeah, that's definitely true. My local club in Sweden has daily PLO 5 and 4 card games, basically 2-2 or 2-5 games mostly. Average buy is, however, mostly 1K. Lots of straddling and gambling. In November, I won a 4-way 20K pot at these very same stakes, playing 5 cards. Playing many hours with the same people builds history and stacks. People don't care. people don't care a lot about that redraws. Yeah, man, 5 card is quite trendy right now. A lot of gambling. You were on the wrong screen. Ah, no, I was in the wrong screen for the heroic flush call down. That's unfortunate. We're already hitting 2-hour mark, which is the max capacity I can give, or I want to give, you know, again, taking on X amount of responsibility, make a decision and so on. Because I have to do, or not I have to, but I want to do a couple other things today that I want to take on responsibility for. Okay, okay. Jesus, we have a lot of people watching. We have like 1,000 people watching across two websites. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna play one more interesting hand, okay? We're gonna wrap it up for today. Maybe it's this one. Gonna give Uri the label, the reg label. I learned a lot from Uri Pelek about poker, I have to say. And we flop the set. I think in general I would just check call this turn, but against this sizing we just really want to raise. It's just like not enough chips going to the middle for the strength of my hand. This was not the interesting hand, by the way. Maybe it's this one. King, king, jack, jack. So bad flop get called, and I think on the turn we can go either way. I guess I would be more prone to bet if I had an ace. Blocking a6, but also holding a nut flush draw would be nice. Here we're not as willing to build a pot necessarily. And to be honest, I'm not too thrilled about this hand for some reason. But we don't block too much. 1 second. So here we 3-bet pre and pot the flop. I mean, there's not much else to do really. We can also check raise, I guess. We are getting it in against a pretty big draw. That is a very good turn card. And against Leonid, against the river bet here, I was betting small on the turn, potting the river. It's pretty interesting. I mean, we really don't block that much in this case. Over here, we're trying to fade a jack. Nice. So let's think about this. So we 3-bet pre, he calls, flop a 6-6 deuce. We bet small call. We don't have a heart, which is good for calling. We don't have a 7 or 8, which is good for calling. We do have spades, which is kind of bad for calling, but he was calling the flop, so like hearts are much more prevalent. 3-5, like 4-4. It's just like I'm not really happy with this hand for some reason. Also, like I don't block ace-6. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too happy with this hand in terms of like I mean, I'm happy the way I played it, but I'm not happy calling down with this hand. I would call like other hands that have like a little bit of different blocker properties. And the thing about rivers and identifying which blocker properties are the best, it's not something you can become perfect at, but you can have like solid reasonings, and then you still just have to sometimes call, sometimes fold, you know. Because the thing about blocker properties on the river is that we don't really know exactly in which way our opponent is going to prioritize different blockers to bluff with. And the solver outputs in terms of bluff catchers are very sensitive to the exact hands our opponent will choose and prioritize for bluffing. So the solver will choose like X hand to call with and Y hand to fold with, and that is completely predicated on how the other player is going to be bluffing. And we never really know how people are choosing their bluffs. Like they're not going to choose it as good as a solver will do. So we just have to like apply some sort of reasoning and think about, okay, I need to call some hands, I need to fold some hands. What are the best hands to call? What are the medium best hands to call? What are the worst hands to call? I think my hand was definitely more towards the bottom, not blocking a6, and not blocking any of the straights, not blocking any of the boats, and yeah, you know, yeah, like the other boats as well. I didn't have hearts, which was interesting, but also it's not clear if my opponent wants to like bluff with hearts that often. I think a much more reasonable bluff candidate would be backdoor spades, and I'm holding backdoor spades myself, so that he's trying to fold at my flush draws on the flop. So it's, but it depends, you know, we don't know how aggressive the player will be playing when he has hearts. So it's like it's an open question, we never know. All right. After 10 years of playing poker, after 10 years, I'm playing poker again on GG because stars is not allowed in my country. I think it's super nice software and I like it a lot. Yeah, definitely, like they're miles ahead in many ways. And we're closing it down for the day, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's stream. Wrapping it up. I'll be back sooner than later. Enjoy the day, the night, whatever it is. If we don't speak each other before New Year, Happy New Year. Make the best out of 2023. You know, set yourself some goals. Hopefully today's poker / live call was helpful in some ways to set new targets and achieve them. Surround yourself with killers, as I like to say it. Surround yourself with killers and become one, be one.